Hi everyone, Laura Roman here. I'm so glad that you're joining me. Today's topic is about, is it sarcasm or abuse? Is the person trying to be funny or are they being abusive with me? I'm Laura Roman. I'm a licensed psychotherapist in private practice. I'm also a relationship expert, and I'm here every week, 2 or 3 times a week on Facebook Live to give you, being in sesh, to give you tips and tricks on how to have a happier, healthier, more dynamic life and a happier, healthier, more dynamic relationship. So today's topic, I think, is one that's really significant, and I see it a lot among my own clients and it's usually, and I don't want to sound sexist, but it's usually the husband talking to his wife. And lots of times what I see is people will put you down. Now, when I'm talking about abuse, I don't mean physical abuse, although physical abuse is one thing. And physical abuse is anytime someone touches you in a way that you don't want to be touched or is physical with you in any way. And that's not really what I'm talking about, but that certainly does exist. There's also sexual abuse, and sexual abuse, even in marriage, exists. And that is when someone forces themselves on you and makes you want, or makes you have sex even though you don't want to. That's sexual abuse. Or anyone who is kind of, like in marriage, it's a little bit, it's a little grayer in terms of what the sexual abuse is. That certainly is abusive. But I'm talking more about the emotional abuse and the way that people, or the way that your husband or your partner talks to you. It's that kind of abuse that I'm talking about. And oftentimes what happens is that people come in here and they tell me about how their partner is talking to them. And what they do is that they excuse it. They deny it. They pretend like it doesn't happen. But, it can be abusive. Like if someone is really mean to you, if someone says horrible things to you, if somebody calls you names, if somebody is yelling and screaming and is always angry, that's abusive. Because, the fact is that think about it. If you were in a different situation, let's say you weren't married to this person, and you heard them talking to someone the way they talk to you, what would you think about that? And that's something I really want you to consider when you consider that something is abusive. Now, people go, oh, they kind of blow it off, or guys will be guys, or he didn't really mean it, or that's just the way he is the one that I hear all the time. Well, that's fine if that's the way he is, but it doesn't make it right. And it doesn't make it okay in a marriage. And blowing it off and pretending like it is okay doesn't make it okay for you. The fact is that in a relationship, what we should be doing, now I'm not exactly talking about the perfect relationship because that doesn't exist, but what we really should be doing is that we should be speaking nicely to each other. We should be uplifting with each other. We should be, sometimes you're going to get bitchy or you're going to get, not so nice, but basically we should try to be kind to one another in a relationship, right? When we say to someone that we love them and they say that they love us, then we want to talk to them in that way. When someone is always angry, and I'm not saying that we never get angry, because of course we always there's always something that's going to piss us off in a relationship or whatever, or we're going to get angry about something, or we're going to get a little sarcastic. The fact of the matter is that if that's done occasionally, that's, understandable. If it's done a lot, like, I have clients who tell me like, they have fights, at least once a week and sometimes more, or someone's yelling or is angry about something. Anger is very violent. And I'm not saying, and I'm not like, oh my God, like I don't react to everything, right? But it is violent. I grew up with a father who was really angry and he yelled a lot. And that was really violent. It was really hard to live with that. And as an adult, I don't experience that, and I have no idea what it's like to experience it. But I know a lot of you are. A lot of you are experiencing a really violent individual who may not even be physically violent, but may be violent in anger, and that's abuse. Throwing things is abusive. It's like, think about it. Like, would you throw something at someone? I mean, would you just like walk into a place and throw something at them? No. But yet we kind of give our partners a pass when they do that with us, or they I have had clients tell me about someone punching holes in the wall or anything like that. That is abusive. And it's not only abusive to you. If you have children, it's also abusive to them. So abuse doesn't have to be physical, and it doesn't have to be sexual. It can be emotional, emotionally abusive. And it can also be in the way people talk to you, in the words that they say to you. If they call you stupid, or they call you a nag, or they call you a bitch, or, it's like, and they're not kidding. They really do mean this. And they should even say it if they're kidding. The fact is, in a healthy marriage, again, you want to say really nice, kind things to each other. You don't want to put the other person down. Or, if you only did this all the time, you stupid bitch. Or, why are you saying that? You shouldn't be saying those kinds of things. What the hell's wrong with you? Like, what the hell's wrong with you? Don't you think? Don't you ever think before you do something? All of those things, if they happen once or twice, yeah, okay, whatever. But if they continue to happen, it's abusive. And it's not good. Like if someone says something to you and it doesn't fall well, it doesn't feel really good in what they're saying, then you may want to look at that. And that may be something that is abusive, and it's not okay. And you can keep ignoring it or pretending like it doesn't exist, but it's never going to get better, and you'll never feel better, and your relationship will never get better. So I want you to be honest with what it is that you're experiencing. Hello, Kimberly. I want you to be honest with what it is that you're experiencing. And I want you to be honest with how your partner is talking to you. And I know I used the word sarcasm. I couldn't think of another word to use, so I used the word sarcasm. Even sarcasm, like people who are really sarcastic, I'm working with a couple now where they use a lot of sarcasm. And that's not necessarily abusive, but it can become abusive if I keep doing it and if I keep being sarcastic. Because what I love is words and what words mean. And what that word means, what the etymology of that word is, sarcasm, is to rip at the flesh. And when you think about it, when someone is sarcastic with you, sometimes it's funny. I know I can be sarcastic. I am sarcastic, but I wouldn't do that with my husband, right? I would do it to be funny or whatever in a social situation, but I'm not going to be doing that with my husband, because in sarcasm, I don't know how to read that, right? And if it's always happening, I don't know how to read it, and I don't know what you mean and what you don't mean, and all I know is that you've said it. And so, it's something that keeps people away. But I'm going to do my next in-session on how we keep people away with what we say, and how we keep intimacy away with what we say and what we don't say. But anyway, so I don't want to get too much into sarcasm because I'll be talking about that in the next sesh. But I want you to think about when you feel yucky. I want to think about when you feel like you want to go ugh with what they've just said. How many times have you gone into the bedroom crying? How many times have you left crying? How many times have you felt horrible, like you didn't want to go into your house? That is the worst feeling of all, is when you don't want to go into your house because of what this person's going to do, or what they're going to say, or how they're going to act, or how they're going to react, because you have to call it what it is. And when I do that with people, when I call it what it is, I say, that's abusive. Like, that's not cool. Like, you wouldn't come in here and talk to me like that. You don't talk to your spouse like that. And so I want you to think about that and see what's really going on. And, if it feels ugly, and like I said, if it feels yucky, then it is. And you don't have to question yourself, and you don't have to wonder about what it is that you're feeling. Because if those words come out, if that thing gets thrown, if he is nasty or mean, or if she's doing it, it's not just men. Women do the same thing. I mean, I've had women in here where I've said to them, you can't talk to him like that anymore, because it was so hard for me to sit and listen to. And so if you're finding it really hard to sit and listen to someone, or you're finding it really hard to hear what it is they have to say, that could very well be abuse. If you are in an abusive situation, if it is emotionally abusive, and I'm not talking about physically or sexually abusive, but if it is emotionally abusive, that's something that you probably need to go and talk to someone about and figure out how you're going to handle it. But I just want to make you aware of it, because I think a lot of times women kind of excuse it, or they don't know what to do with it, or they don't trust themselves. And I just want to bring your awareness to the topic and to help you to understand what it could possibly be in your relationship. So that is my in-sesh for today. Hopefully you found that helpful. If you did, please share it with your friends. Please sign up for my group, my new group, which is Better Marriage Without Therapy. It's a new Facebook group. Please sign up for that. Please follow me. I love it when you follow me, so please do that. And I will see you again on Friday when I am in sesh about those words and things that you do or don't do that keep people away, especially your spouse, from the intimacy that you're really wanting. So, hi, Courtney. Good to see you. We're just talking about you today. Anyway, have a great day. Love you. Thanks so much for following me. If you haven't already, please follow me. I will see you on Friday. Bye.